Alex Thompson and Kelly O'Sullivan are two of the most promising voices in American independent cinema. Following the success of San Francis, the creative duo returns with Ghostlight, a drama that explores the power of theater as a vehicle for emotional healing. The film, starring Keith Kapfer, follows Dan, a construction worker, who after a family tragedy finds refuge in a modest production of Romeo and Juliet. The moving and deeply human story has captivated festivals such as Sundance or Festival of Málaga, further establishing its director as a storyteller capable of addressing universal themes with an intimate and poignant perspective. In this interview, Alex Thompson and Kelly O'Sullivan will talk about the origins of the film, the relationship between theater and real life, and the process of bringing Ghostlight to big screen. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
How are you? And how is your day in Málaga?
It's beautiful.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's stunning. I can't believe how gorgeous it is here. We got in town yesterday, and I just can't believe, we've heard it's been very rainy, and now we got so lucky. It's perfect. And
yeah, at the time it's crazy. Sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's sunny.
Yeah.
So we hope in this afternoon we will have sun for you to go to the beach, maybe.
Oh, that's kind.
We hope it.
Yeah.
So let's start with the interview.
Yes.
Okay? How has the experience of presenting this film in Málaga has been?
Well, we have our first and only screening tonight.
Yeah.
But so far, the journalists who we've talked to who've seen the movie have been so kind and so thoughtful, and it seems like they really understand what we were going for in the film, and so I'm just excited for the audiences to get to see it.
For me, it was a great film, and I hope that tonight the people will love the film too.
Thank
I
you.
hope.
I hope so
you.
too.
Thank you.
Fingers
Theater
crossed.
plays a crucial role in Ghostlight. Now, not only as seats setting, but as from a therapy for the protagonist. At what point did you realize that you wanted to tell this story through a Shakespeare play?
Very early. I mean, that was how the idea sort of came to me. Was I was thinking about Romeo and Juliet, how I had thought of it as a young person versus how I think of it now as a parent. And so also the National Theatre of London had put out a trailer for their production of Romeo and Juliet, so it was fresh in my head. And so when I was thinking about this tragedy that Dan encounters in his real life and the themes that would be resonant in Romeo and Juliet too, I knew that I wanted to collide his life and also the plot to make him face it. And so it was always Romeo and Juliet in my brain.
Always.
Yeah.
Dan is a complex character, full of pain, who struggles to express his emotions. Did you draw inspirations from a real person when creating Dan, or did his character emerge organically as you developed the film?
From several real people. I mean, certainly from a generation of men in America who were raised not to be expressive, who were raised to be, sort of tough and manly, and never to be sad, who were taught that crying is a weakness. And so I've known many men like that. And then actually thinking about Keith. So Keith and I knew each other for 10 years before this. And I think the way that I know him, which is he's very lovable, but I think a lot of people are sort of intimidated by him when they first meet him because he's like a big guy and can be sort of quiet, sort of writing to his voice.
Dan, in Ghostlight, theater, it's not just an activity. It's a reflection of the character's repressed emotions, as you told. What impact has the theater had on your own lives?
Well, I've been doing theater since I was like 6 years old. We actually did, what was it?
Did you do
We did
Hamlet?
Hamlet in first grade.
You did Hamlet.
Or no, third grade. I'm so sorry, third grade. But I was...
by third grade you really understand Hamlet.
Yeah. Fourth, it was very unusual at my elementary school. But it's always been a place where you get to, you play pretend, but you can also, you bring yourself into the process and you get to feel things, all the way. Whereas in real life, maybe you try to temper it, hold it back a little. I think it's just always been a place to play and to feel community and to feel like you belong. So it gives it. I think as a kid, particularly, it gave me a lot of confidence that I didn't have to do what all the assholes and jocks were doing. Like, I could do this other thing. And the assholes and the jocks, they all went to see the plays.
Yeah.
And so, there was something very, like, evening the playing field there. So that's me.
And it's a place that you can share your emotions. It's a place to share. You not can play, or you not can share your emotions. You must share your emotions.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe, it's like a very good, like, how to say it? I don't know. But I feel it.
Yeah, it's a place where the parts of yourself that maybe in everyday life you don't get to share are celebrated and are necessary. And it's a place where you get to be, like, sad and angry and joyful and fall in love, and you get to live in so many people's shoes. It's a great mechanism for empathy.
Dan's transitions from playing Lord Capulet to taking on the role of Romeo mirrors his personal journey of confronting and accepting his emotions. Could you elaborate on how this theatrical evolution symbolized his internal healing process?
Yeah, well, I mean, he goes from playing Lord Capulet, who is similar to himself, sort of controlling and angry, to then stepping into the shoes of his son. Because Romeo's circumstances are very similar to his son's. And he's been in this place of judgment and anger, but by assuming the role of Romeo, he has to identify with him. He has to go on that journey of love and heartbreak. And so it goes from just playing a version of himself to playing a version of his son.
So the relationship between Dan and his daughter Daisy is central to the narrative. But Dan and Daisy, they are family.
Yeah.
Out of the screens. So how did you work with Catherine to develop this father-daughter dynamic in the film, and how did the real-life family bonds influence in their performance?
I mean, they brought that. I mean, we didn't really have to encourage it at all. I think maybe once early on we said, we really want you to bring yourselves to this. We didn't want them to be performing father-daughter relationships. And so just every day we would see them in between scenes, and they were just themselves, and we would say, hey, bring a little bit of that.
Yeah,
into
do
the
that
scene.
again when we're rolling.
Start the scene, picking at her hair, or, it was really encouraging her.
Yeah. And they love each other so much in real life. They're very playful, and we also see them get angry at each other in real life. And so I think they just have a real love that shows up on screen.
Yeah, it's the same, like the relationship that they have out of the screen and inside of the screen, no?
Yeah, it's very similar.
It's very similar. Yeah. How you feel like playing with them, or like play with them in there? You feel very comfortable, or it's very organic?
Very organic, very organic. I mean, like I said, I knew Keith for a long time, but this is my first time getting to know Catherine. And they're such grounded, fun, hardworking people. There's no ego to any of them. And so when we would work with them, everybody was just trying to get the best version of the scene and also have fun while doing it. And so we had a great time with them, and we're good friends with them now. We go over to their house and have dinner all the time now, and they're buddies.
In the industry of cinema, the egos are a big problem. How do you deal with the egos of the people?
Well, luckily, because we work on smaller budgets, we don't encounter many egos.
Well, you have to. I think when the ego comes from a place of fear, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
They're afraid that they're not going to be taken care of. They're afraid that they're going to feel bad in some way.
That they're going to look bad.
That they're going to look
because
bad.
As a filmmaker, so much of their performance is in your hands, especially in the editing room. You can make a great actor look terrible.
Yeah.
And so I think they're probably concerned about that.
I have a lot of patience for actors' egos, because even if the film is shot badly, written badly, released badly, everyone's going to say, like, that's a so-and-so movie. It's like that. I saw that Julianne Moore movie that wasn't very good or whatever. They're not naming the people involved in all those other decisions. So I think you just have to make a space for them where they feel comfortable, and let them know what it's going to be. Like, we're not going to have hair and makeup. We're not going to have a trailer way early, so that when they come to set, they're ready.
Yeah, and I'm an actor as well, and so I've definitely seen directors who have horrible egos.
Yeah.
It's not just an actor thing, and I think, the idea that any film is made on the artistry of one person is a lie. It's not. It's made through so many people.
Yeah.
And so I think if you have that team mentality, then egos can kind of be, tamed.
It's very nice. For me, it's very important to know how to deal with the egos.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you try to enter in the industry, you connect with the other people, but then you feel like some of them have very big egos, and it's quite difficult because sometimes you can be like, oh, I think it's not my place.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. When actually it is the place of any person who has something to say. Like anybody who has a story that they want to tell. It can be a very intimidating business. I found that most of the people who we talk to are quite lovely, actually. And it really is only the jerks who are scared of being found out or scared of looking bad that have the egos.
Yeah, and you both co-directed the film. How it was, the experience about co-directing?
I think I don't know how anybody else does it, and I don't recommend it. But I think for us it works because we have a similar taste. But I think the ways in which our taste differs, it challenges each other in a way that's useful rather than not useful.
Yeah.
It doesn't waste time. I think it's really a lot like we talk about. It's a lot like we didn't know this when we co-directed because we weren't parents. But now that we are parents, it's a lot like being a parent, where it's not like one person does diapers and one person does food. You're doing everything all at once, and as long as you have the same values, it's going to turn out okay.
Yeah. And we have bad days where we argue and where we fight, but sometimes really good things have come out of those arguments.
Yeah.
And I think speaking about ego, we have to even check ourselves and make sure that we're not just fighting to be right.
To be right, yeah.
But we're fighting for what is actually going to be the best choice for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's your second time working together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, St. Francis, our first movie, I wrote and acted in, and Alex directed.
Yeah, and then we've since co-directed another film that was a little bit bigger, and we're going to co-direct another film this summer.
You have more work together?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah? You do?
We do, yeah.
And this one will be the last.
And was there a particular scene that was especially challenging to film due to this emotional intensity and work with family? I mean, maybe this film, it's very family.
Yeah.
And you work all like it was like a small family. Well, not small, but like a family.
No, it was very much like a family. We had a small crew, most of whom knew each other, and we're a family. I think a challenging scene to film. So since you've seen the movie, there's a fight where the wife is trying to begin to garden, make this garden out of a space that we don't know why, but it holds significance for the family.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Exactly, yeah. And that scene was very difficult because we were running out of time. So Catherine was 16 years old, which means that she only was able to work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so we had 15 minutes left.
And we actually shot it in 15 minutes.
It was one shot?
It was
shot?
No, it was take.
Yeah, it was just his coverage. It was like nobody got more than one take. It was one take for Dan, I think one take for the daughter. And so the sort of energy of that film or that scene, I think, shows up on camera because it is such a heightened emotion scene, and there's this sense of "Wah!" in that scene that I think really helps.
And to make the last question, what do you expect from the public that gets about the film? When you see the film, you get something for you, and you learn something. Always, you learn something about seeing a story or seeing a film. So, what do you expect for the public that gets about the film?
I think hopefully just the importance of empathy, the importance of being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and how radical that can be, actually,
Yeah.
to truly do it.
I think, connection, and that it's worth being vulnerable. You know, I think so often in the world we think, oh, I shouldn't show sadness, I have to be like the cool version of myself. And actually, it's very endearing, and it's very easy to connect with somebody who's willing to be vulnerable. That it's a very brave thing to express your emotions and to be seen for, you know, all of who you are, the traumas, the joy. And so I think, that it's worth being your full self with people.
And if you can get some advice to the young people that will see the movie, what would you say for them?
I think I would say young filmmakers or just young people?
Young people, but young filmmakers too.
I think be like Daisy, you know, push back, you know, like I think a lot of people spend their whole lives thinking like, you know, their parents are these sort of walls where like there's emotion back there, but you don't get to see it. And I think you just got to chip away at that because it's their responsibility, but also they may not get there without you. Like, they may be the adults, but like you've got a lot of power that you don't know you have in their life to transform their life, I think.
Yeah. I think I would say this just goes for life, but whoever you were as a kid, keep finding that in the world. Like if that was nice. Well, I mean like before the world started telling you who to be. Yeah. Find that pure version of yourself, because when I was a young person, I thought I need to be serious, I need to be successful. I had all of these things that were sort of put onto me, and now I feel like I'm finding myself again of who I was when I was young. And so I would say don't try to get rid of that version of yourself. Go try to find your place in the world where you can be that version of yourself.
That's great.
So thank you very much. I take all of your advices and I hope tonight you will have a very big scene in Málaga, and I hope that all the people that sees the movie will love it. Thank you very much to share your time with us.
Thank you for talking.
It's a pleasure. And good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for the conversation. It was
this was lovely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was great.